Hey YouTube, welcome back to UXTCG, and today we're going to talk about another kind of state of the game just video, little topic. And this time I did some more thinking, because before I talked about the dates, that we could be seeing change, what turns they'd affect, and then something else struck me, is that the time frame is actually pretty precarious, and this may change whether or not we see anything happen at all. So let's get into it. I want to let you guys know that we're setting this video for 100 likes as a goal, and if you really like the content, subscribe. But if you really like me, maybe go in the description and subscribe to my Dragon Ball gaming channel, because that's gonna start getting flooded with content, and I want that one to get monetized next. So with that being said, let's talk about the subject matter. So before, I was saying I don't think that TopKu would get addressed before the two regionals in Illinois, the one in Peoria and the one in Rosemont, but it could get addressed before Gen Con, because Gen Con is at the start of August. And then upon doing some other research, I realized that set 3, which is now called Raging Roar, actually just like it's up on the site, is actually set for a pre-release date of the 9th and a release date of the 16th of August, meaning that Gen Con happens and then a week later we get the pre-releases for set 3. And when it comes to this, in the past, Bandai has always been a little careful when a set comes out to make sure that they allow that set to play. And what I mean by that is the proximity of set 3's release may cause Bandai to give a little hesitation to touching TopKu. They may want to let TopKu roll and then see if set 3 just doesn't iron it out naturally. I think this could be a huge mistake. Now, what this would lead to is either path 1 of them touching TopKu, announcing like a TopKu nerf after the Chicago regionals or the Illinois regionals, and then having a pocket format like they kind of did right before I think set 5 came out when they touched Whitebeard, having a pocket format for the month of August. Literally, well, for the month of July and August. But as far as I know, there really aren't too many events in July. Like if I were to check it right now, right, it looks like we have a lot of events happening in July. So you're really kind of having low impact, right? You're having a low impact of pocket format if you hurt this deck right after June. And then once August comes out, you have a new set. So this is weird. This is honestly weird to me. If I'm going to look at this, I feel like we might not even have a lot of we might not even have really many events. Like looking at the timetables, right? Carta Magica has a regional July 13th that could be affected. July 20th, Core TCG has one event. Then August, Gen Con has 2 events. So essentially, this format, this pocket format, would affect 4 regionals. And to them, that's probably enough. I can see that being enough. And then we have set 3 to come in and really shake things up. So I think that could be like pretty cool. I think that could be pretty cool. So the real question is, what path does Bandai choose? Because if you've played One Piece Masters, there's a couple different ways Bandai could try to handle this, and they're all fairly within Bandai's wheelhouse. They could either A, decide that a month and a half is not enough time to really fret over, and they could leave TopKu alone until set 3 comes out to see if set 3 can combat it. I think this is kind of the worst thing they can possibly do, because I'm going to list some reasons a little later in the video why TopKu needs to be addressed now from just straight up a design point. And that would make it so that, people who are going to Illinois are still going to Illinois, but people who are looking at Gen Con and wanting to see some change may peel out of Gen Con, and that's not a good optic for the game if Gen Con looks like a straight flop. So then you have the second idea, and that's hitting the TopKu deck, I would assume, after Illinois. Like I said, I'm still a big proprietor of ban Roshi, ban Ribrianne. This makes the decks a little slower so that green can potentially have a little chance to go. That probably brings yellow back into the format, in order to combat green, because yellow can still do a 2-drop spam pretty quickly and try to close out against green. On top of that, instead of TopKu being the green killer, what you probably have is a new uprising of U7, Goku, to be able to combat green before they can get off the floor, making the true aggro deck be the aggro out. You also have blue being able to come into the format to combat both yellow and red, but blue has a natural bad matchup versus green. So I think that if you ban Roshi and you ban Ribrianne, you ban their ability to go hyper awakening, but you also ban the ability to close out games with double strike behind Glimpse on 5 energy. I think this could be the quickest way to soften TopKu, not hit any cards that have alt arts, and then on top of that, open up the format. But that being said, I do think that if you do something for TopKu, you give people a little bit of a chance to test differently for Gen Con. You give Gen Con a chance to show some variety, and you also, depending on when those tops go, or those hits go live, allow that Carta Magica and Carta Magica and Core TCG regionals to actually flourish a little bit. So you can affect 4 regionals by hitting it right after Illinois, and I think that's worth. Now, once we get to that part, you have another junction. If you guys remember the Whitebeard ban in One Piece, you know that this moment that set 5 hit, they reversed it. And I think that they may look at this as the same thing. Well, set 3 came out, so let's put everything back on the menu and see how it goes. Unlike One Piece, we are not 5 sets in, we are 3. We have a very limited card pool, and so unless something stupid comes out in set 3, we are likely going to see TopKu be just as problematic if they were to reverse their findings. So I would think that the middle option is probably the best option. Ban Roshi, ban Ribrianne, push into set 3 with those changes there. I think that that's going to allow it to really stick and allow set 3 to flourish and not get potentially steamrolled by set 2's best decking format. But alright y'all, taking a quick moment to shout out the sponsors for this video. First up is Mystic TCG, a store based in Missouri that sells all sorts of TCG product, even more than what you see featured here on this page. They also buy singles, collections, and prize cards, so make sure you actually catch them out in their store in Missouri at an event, or even on their Facebook, just to be able to see the events here, but also ask them what they're up to and what they're looking for in terms of vending. You can also use the code UNIXTCG to get discounts off your pre-orders as well as orders, so make sure you get your TCG product while it's hot. Then you have Eclipse Cards and Hobby based out of Texas, and if that sounds familiar, they did sponsor me with a box of Fusion World Set 1. But as you can see on this page, there is a plethora of TCG products that they are actually having for sale at their establishment. You can also even buy things that aren't just TCG products. As you can see on the screen right here, they hold their own locals, they hold their own events, and they are going out to more and more events. You can actually check their Facebook to see their schedule, as well as call and ask about their vending list. And at the checkout for their website, you can use the code UNI10X to actually get percentages off your pre-orders or your orders. So go check it out as well. And we're always up to all sorts of things in Universe X, so you can go down the description and check the link tree to find out about my other channels, my Twitch, or any other avenues that I'm creating content on. But if you want to go the extra mile, you can always go down to any description on any video and find my Amazon affiliate links. These products here will differ from video to video to cater to the audience in question, but it's just very easy to see something that you may like or be interested in, open it up and choose the style and or color that'll work for you. All proceeds will give kickbacks to the channel, so it'll be some direct support, and I'll always appreciate the help from you guys. So with that being said, let's get back to the video. So yeah, I think it's very important for them to not go back on any changes made to the format in terms of TopKu. Mainly because what TopKu offers right now is a hyper, like, it's a deck that can span too many fields, and I've always been very rigid on what a deck should and should not be able to do. TopKu can play a war of attrition type game, being able to recycle things with Glimpse, being able to play multiple bodies out with Kefla, and then the stage of the game where people are playing one good card a turn because they just don't have the cards in hand to expend more, Kefla is able to play, draw, and then play something else, allowing you to apply more and more pressure every single turn while recycling it with Glimpse. On top of that, if you want to talk about fast aggro, Roshi and the other Self-Awakeners behind them allow you to awaken extremely fast. In turn 2, if your opponent gets one attack in, it's easy to awaken on turn 2. And then you can just start cheating into play Keflas. And so even on things like 3 energy, you're playing sometimes 3 cards, like a 2-drop, and then Kefla as well as another card. And on that low energy, your opponent doesn't really have a way to interact with that. If you awaken on turn 2, your opponent generally is like charging to 3 and then having to figure out what to do with like this Kefla in this body. And if they can't break those, then you get to move into your next turn, play another chunk of cards, and then swing multiple times. You awaken your opponent on their 3rd energy, and you have a potential gap where you start bleeding their hand before they can actually drop cards from it. So realistically, you have a very, very, very rough time actually dealing with this deck because it can hit you from multiple sides of the spectrum. Just on the hyper aggressive side, on the mid-range side, and on the slow it down, grind you outside. And so with that being said, the only way that you power creep TopKu, the only way that set 3 can make TopKu ineffective is if set 3 spawned a deck that was faster than TopKu, which is toxic. If set 3 spawned a deck that could defend better than TopKu could aggress, which again would be toxic. If you power creep TopKu in set 3, you are adding another toxic deck to the game, and that is not where we want to be. So you really have to just hit TopKu and stay the course on your balance. So that's I think that's really kind of where we need to be, and that's where Bandai needs to be very careful in the testing. You can't just throw stuff out there and hope it sticks. You can't just be like, oh, well, this deck beats TopKu, because if you can organically have a deck that foils TopKu, you've probably unbalanced your game, imbalanced your game even worse than it was before. So I'm crossing my fingers that we see shortly after the Illinois regionals a hit to TopKu, and that it sticks well past set 3. And we should be getting set 3 spoilers soon, so I'm very, very excited to hopefully see that. Like, if it comes out in August, like we have the pre-release August 9th, it's June 5th. We have 2 months, and so I'd assume, what, the next like month or so we're gonna start seeing them? I would hope so. But with that being said, I hope you guys had a good time watching this video. We're gonna really start putting the pedal to the metal again. I had to reassess where we're going with the channel, and then I also want to build up my Dragon Ball gaming channel. So like I said, go in the description and subscribe to that channel if you want to support me. I'm gonna be putting a lot of stuff out there. We're in the middle of the Legends anniversary for the Legends phone game, and Sparking Zero, which is essentially Budokai Tenkaichi 4, should be getting more and more news as we go into this year, and I will be all over that game in that channel. For you Patreon members, there's going to be the drawing for the code card giveaways for set 2 in 2 days. I believe I said I cut that off on the 7th, so make sure that you guys have commented on that post. And if you want to just win code cards as well as see plenty of just content, we're going to be revving back up again. Just join the Patreon. It's as easy as that. And then for the Amazon links, if you're a TopKu lover, you're Super Saiyan God-Ku, I have a nice Goku figure in Super Saiyan God in the description. And then as well, if you like Super Saiyan 4, just, I don't know, in honor of Super Saiyan 4 being what looks to be the focus of set 3, I'm going to put a nice Super Saiyan 4 Goku figure in the description as well. So check both those out. If you want to add them to your collection, just buy them using the link in the description. It gives a kickback to the channel. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.